Hello. Today we are going to look at the story of Genesis and the case of two brothers of ours, Noah and Abraham. Now, the first time that the Bible mentions people praying is in the 4th chapter of Genesis. We know that Adam and Eve used to talk with God and God talked with them, but after that there was a gap. There was a ditch. And then in Genesis chapter 4 we are told that this is the time people started praying. Now 2 chapters after, we have a case of a man that walked with God, that was friend with God. Noah was found righteous in the midst of a generation that was completely rotten. So rotten that God decided to wipe them all out. We just thank God today that the world has not got wiped out again. And you know why? It's not that we are better. It's not that God has changed. The only thing is, He promised that He won't wipe the world again out. And that is why people can think today that they can get away with anything. Now, in the midst of it, Noah was righteous, and God talked to him and told him, I'm going to wipe the whole house, the whole world out. Now you are going to be saved. And this is the way to go about it. And He gave him a blueprint, a very measured and detailed plan of the ark that he was supposed to build. And Noah started building. He built that ark on dry ground. There was no sign of anything happening. He built that on the foundation of the teaching that he received from God. He believed God that there would be a destruction. And it took 100 years to build that. Obviously, he didn't do it alone. Thankfully, his family was one with him. His 3 sons and with their wives contributed. They all built that ark, and just imagine that for 100 years he was mocked and jeered every day. This is not written, but is the reality, because you know that this is what happened, really. So he was mocked. They tried to discourage him, everything, but he got focused. He stayed focused, and I'm sure that during these 100 years he had to say time and again the reason he was building that ark, that elevated ark, several stories, huge and built, to be able to house not only his family but also a sample of each couple of animals on the earth. And it is recorded, just in case you think that he might not have said anything. He might not have told God about all these people. How can you destroy them? It is recorded in 2nd letter of Peter, chapter 2, verse 5, that he was a preacher of righteousness. So it is obvious that oral history was passed on, that that man had continued talking to people, probably telling them there is still a chance for you to be saved. Clearly they didn't listen. We go further and we meet Abraham. Abraham that was chosen by God out of his whole family and told to move out of his hometown, out of his ancestral village, into a place that he didn't know. And he had to walk with God patiently, day after day. And it is recorded in Genesis chapter 18 that one day, as Abraham had just got circumcised and was resting in his tent, his wife was there too, and God came down with two angels, three people that came to Abraham's neighborhood. He saw them afar, called them, invited them, gave them hospitality, fed them, watered them, washed their feet from the dust of the desert, entertained them very, very lovingly, kindly. And then, as they were going out, he accompanied them a while. That was the Jewish tradition, and that is the Igbo tradition in Nigeria. Kain dupu. We accompany the person for a while when they go out. And so he did that, and on the way God said, how can I hide what I'm going to do from that man? He's my friend, he and his family serve me, and we are close. And God started narrating to him that he was going to destroy these towns, probably, that he had heard a lot about their sin, their waywardness. Abraham had no chance to take a long time over that. Just few minutes, maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and he reacted immediately. He knew that his nephew was there, but that was not the issue in his heart. He started begging God, saying, how can you destroy the whole town? Maybe there will be some number of people that will be pleasing you there. And the number he mentioned was far more than Lot and his family. He told God, God said, all right, I will not destroy the town if I find this number of people. Then Abraham continued interceding and said, well, maybe you will not find that number, but maybe there will be a lower number, but still, please consider. You see that all through that passage, you can see the heart of Abraham. For people he didn't even know. He couldn't have cared. Many people would have said, well, after all, I'm not concerned. But he was concerned. He prayed and begged and argued with God, telling him, consider. You are so loving, you are so compassionate. Please, count the number of people. If you find that number of righteous people, don't destroy that town. And it went on and on and on, and you could see that God was going along his asking. And it lasted for a while, until we are told the conversation was over and they parted ways. Abraham went back to his tent. God went to Sodom and Gomorrah. And we know that in the eventually, Lot was saved by the scruff of his neck. But God could not find anyone in the town except for Lot and his wife and his daughters. So, my friends, brothers and sisters, look at these two men. They had a passion for the unsaved, for the people that didn't know their right from their left. Jonah was sent to Nineveh later on, and Jonah was really careless about the Ninevites. He didn't even wish these people to be saved initially, and preached reluctantly. But that was not the case of Noah and Abraham. So, be intercessors. Come close to God and talk to him about your neighbors, the people from your town, from your country, the people you know and those you don't know. Please.